All right. Good morning, Roxeanne Hardenburg. Welcome to Empowered Soul Network. I appreciate you being here with us. We are excited to talk about what you're passionate about. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Roxanne, so I'm going to just do a little, I'm going to read what Roxanne shared because it's very, I think it's very poignant to get crystal clear on what she does. So Roxanne is a human health transformation strategist with a demonstrated history of reversing chronic health conditions, disease, pain, and weight gain using her signature system she created in 2020 during lockdown. Out of a desperation to heal her own body, ooh, let's talk about that, from 15 different health conditions. Wow. Her success is based on her unique approach using personalization and DNA metrics to design her clients' healing blueprints with accuracy and efficacy. Today, she's known for achieving incredible health results using Mother Nature's medicines, food, and plant-based phytochemicals. Is that how you say that? As opposed to factory-made pharmaceuticals. Okay, Roxanne, holy moly, talk to me about all of that, please.
Well, yes. So my background is actually got nothing to do with health, really. And when I moved from South Africa to Scotland in just before lockdown hit, we immigrated, my husband and I, and the cats. And yeah, I got very sick very quick. Underlying health conditions, stage 4 endometriosis, irritable bowel syndrome. Those things have been my longest issues to work around. I was diagnosed with IBS since I was like a teenager, and stage 4 bowel endometriosis when I was 23, 2003. And so those are things that I was managing relatively well, having to obviously have treatment every year, surgeries, things that you just need to do. And when we moved here, I think isolating myself in a country during lockdown, feeling very isolated, not having the support and the medical, like I had back in South Africa, things got very serious very quickly for me. And because they weren't due to the lockdown regulations, things like surgical treatments and things were obviously put on the back burner unless you were obviously prioritized, and mine wasn't in that case. And so I was forced into a corner of desperation, actually. The pain medication stopped working, actually, as well. I was on morphine for about 2 months, 3 months. After using pharmaceutical medication, while it does help keep the symptoms at bay, everything has a purpose in life. I'm not here to knock, full disclosure, I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist or any of those things. I have full respect. I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the surgeons and doctors who have treated me and helped me. And I don't think I would be sane if I didn't have access to the pharmaceutical pain medication over the 2 decades. But unfortunately, your body gets to a point, especially when your gut's not good, and mine wasn't because of the IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, that in 2020, the pain meds just stopped working. I couldn't get that pain relief. And so, long story short, I was forced into a corner of desperation. And I'm a researcher by nature. So my background is IT, technology, corporate business operations. And I've always been into researching. So I know how to find anything on the internet. I know how to cross-reference. And so I was like, well, what skills do I have? I've got time in the internet on my hands right now during lockdown. And so I dived into as much research as I could, took my 15 different health issues, which were a range of things: fatty liver disease. I mean, there's quite a list, but the bigger ones was the endometriosis, the irritable bowel syndrome, because that affects everything, your gutters and your bowel. I mean, everything that you eat and drink, medication as well. And so those were the biggest ones. I also had a severed spinal cord from a surgical operation I had in 2011, which did leave me paralyzed back then, but I have moved on from that. Literally, I've done some amazing healing. And so all those issues and by 2020 came together and just created massive amounts of pain everywhere, head to toe pain. And so I went on a mission. So I dived into the research, had a look at what the common denominators were. That's how my brain is. I'm trained that way. So networking, systems, IT. I'll look at a vast network and see, well, where are the issues, where the issues coming from. And so my brain works that way. And I was like, wow, I'm going to do the same thing with health. What do all my conditions have in common? Inflammation. What the heck is inflammation? I know that I take anti-inflammatories. Well, what does that do? And so I really just started mapping out what inflammation is, what creates inflammation: diet, medication, environmental factors, you name it. What creates inflammation in the body? And then I kind of just segmented things. And I guess I was really good at pinpointing because it worked. I was able to get pain relief within the first 6 weeks, but to the point where I knew I was onto something. And so when I was obviously during lockdown, I didn't really have many resources. So I was like, well, what's the one thing that I can control? Well, whatever I put into my mouth, whatever I eat, whatever I drink, I have control over that. And then when I was researching, and I had a friend in South Africa who also has the same issues as me health wise, and she was like, look, Rox, I got some great relief from this. And so she kind of just put these little like ideas in my head, and I was like, oh, I haven't heard of that. What's that? Well, let me see what the research says. Oh, I haven't, what's that? And so I started looking at things that a lot of people know about, like ketosis. Keto, everyone thinks it's a weight loss thing. It just happens to be the most effective way at losing weight. But what is ketosis? What is ketogenesis? And so I love the science behind things. I think because it's factual, the science behind stuff, it's not hokey pokey. And so when I looked into all these ways, I realized very quickly that the human body, and I was never good at anatomy, I was never good at things like that at school. I just came to realize that the body's got these ways, natural innate healing abilities to reduce inflammation. And if you reduce inflammation, you reduce pain. And I was like, well, I'm doing more of that. Whatever's going to reduce my pain, I'm diving into that. And that's what I did first. And so looking at my bowel, my IBS, my gut was the first thing I worked with. And so just a little fun fact there, when we're born as babies, when we're born, we are born in a state of ketosis. Mother's breast milk is high fat, low carb to keep the baby in ketosis. Ketosis is ketones, the body's preferred fuel source for the brain, but it's also very healing. And so I tapped into all these things and I looked at the medical archives and all the studies, and I was like, oh, there's a correlation here. People have gotten great results doing this and doing that. And so I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose. So I dived in, cut out all the things that create inflammation. And within 6 weeks, I woke up the one day and I felt very different. But then I also use natural protocols. So this is my home apothecary. I'm all around botanical phytochemicals. The other word for phytochemicals is essential oils. A lot of people have heard of essential oils. It's not a nice to have. You get different versions though. You get the grades that you can't use internally, and those are ones I've always known about, the ones that make the room smell nice, the ones that you put in your bath, the ones that you massage with. And then there's ones that you can use internally, which are 100% medical grade. And I happened to have those at the time because I invested in a business and serial entrepreneur, and I saw the opportunity. And then lockdown hit, and I was like, well, I'm sitting with these things. And peppermint was my first go-to. I already knew that peppermint helps with digestion. We all know, we've heard that peppermint tea, those things help, they soothe the digestion. So I just started consuming these things thinking, well, I don't know what I'm doing, but how worse could this get? And within days, I started keeping water in because I wasn't keeping water down. I wasn't keeping food in. Things were getting very serious. My body was just rejecting everything. And when the pain levels started to drop and the headache that I had for about, I don't know, 4 months, I had a constant migraine just from being dehydrated. When that started going away, when you get that pain relief, it's like winning the lotto. All of a sudden you're onto something. And I was like, I'm going to do more than this. And then that just birthed everything. From there, I studied. Within 7 months, I reached full remission, just cutting out everything and anything that was creating inflammation, because I'd learned that the common denominator between all health conditions, actually not just the 15 that I had, all health conditions, the common denominator is inflammation. And inflammation, if left untreated, so if you just keep taking anti-inflammatories and you just keep taking painkillers like I was doing, we phone up the pharmacy, we phone up our doctor, because that's what we do, right? We take more painkillers, but that destroys your gut over time. And so I was like, okay, so what are natural painkillers? What can I start swapping things? That's really what it comes down to. Phytochemicals, phyto meaning plant, Mother Nature. So is it factory made or is it farmed, Mother Nature? So essential oils is just another type of medication that you can use, but it's natural, so it doesn't have side effects. And the moment I started using the peppermints and it started helping with my stomach and I started feeling better, I wasn't nauseous all the time, the headache went away, I just kept on plugging away. And then I learned about stem cell therapy using certain botanicals like frankincense, myrrh, peppermint, and then other ones like olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil. You know, these are not essential oils. These are like oils that most of us have in our pantry. They all help with the mitochondria, which is the colony of bacteria in your gut. And so I was kind of like my own human experiment, so to speak. And I was diarizing and jotting down everything and journaling everything and mapping and going, well, that didn't work, so we won't do that again. And, oh, this worked, so let's do more of that. And then 7 months in, reached full remission, first pain-free period for someone with endometriosis, especially stage 4, aggressive stage 4. It's almost unheard of to have a pain-free menstrual cycle. And I was always bedridden for 1 to 2 weeks of every month, just about, when I was sick. So there goes your whole life, really. And I remember taking a walk down the road and just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on my cycle and I have no pain and this is incredible. And well, let me just do a little video and put it on Facebook. And I wasn't big into social media back then. And let's see what happens. And it went viral and a whole lot of people reached me, a whole lot of women. So I started off being a women's health transformation strategist, DNA analyst, because of the endometriosis. But over time, I've learned, well, the gut is what we all have in common. And the gut is linked to everything. It metabolizes your hormones, which is why I reached remission from my endometriosis, because that's a hormone infertility issue. I did that by focusing on healing my gut. So I was like, hang on, just by healing my gut, all these other health issues have gone away. Well, how is this? So constantly just researching. So what started out as a women's health program then became, over the last 6 months, I've now started helping men. And when lockdown lifted, I started testing my own DNA, because during lockdown, we couldn't do that. We couldn't test our own DNA. And I love a good set of data. Data doesn't lie. And so I applied that with health. And I was like, well, what am I missing? Because I keep going 10 steps forward and then I might digress a bit. I might relapse a bit and something might happen. And I tested my DNA, and then that's where the DNA side of it came in. So I was able to now go, okay, so instead of me just saying to somebody, if you cut out a whole lot of things, which is quite, yeah, it's quite hectic, and throwing a whole lot of things at it, well, let's see, what does my DNA look like then? So I started testing a bunch of biomarkers. And I came to realize that the most important biomarkers to look at when you are suffering with any health issues, if you are on pharmaceutical medication, you want to start weaning off that purely because of the side effects, no other reason. The side effects, read that insert in your box. The side effects are hectic. And over time, I picked up 30 kilos. I started losing my memory. I suffered with depression. Anxiety was already there. And so I started getting all these other health issues. And that's how I landed up with 15 different ones by 2020. And I was like, I've just looked at all the medication I've been using and all the side effects. And so the aim is to naturally manage your health, naturally, without any side effects. And if it's an incurable disease, like I've got stage 4 endometriosis, I think everything's curable. It's just a matter of time. It's just my opinion. But if you can live symptom-free and pain-free and have a healthy weight no matter what you do in life, like you can go out, you can enjoy yourself, you're going to maybe have to dive into some protocols from time to time when you've overdone it a bit. But if you can do that safely, naturally, affordably, and have a full life, not being bedridden, I mean, isn't that the aim? And so I just really knew that I was onto something. And I thought, okay, well, let me have a look at the DNA. And I was like, well, if I apply this test to everybody I help, we can narrow it down and we can aim with accuracy. And I'm all around precision. If I can aim with accuracy, it's going to help me help you get your results much quicker. And so I'm a fast track hacker. That's what I am. Health wise, anything. If there's a problem, what's making it worse? We'll stop doing that first, because that's logical. Then what's the next step? Or what's the solution? Okay, so how can we do it quicker but safely? Always safely. I don't believe in doing anything health wise that's going to come with a negative side effect, because then what's the point? And so over time, over the 3 years that I've been doing this now, I've learned what protocols to do first, which is cleaning the gut, detoxing. The liver is important, but using your DNA to figure out what does your gut look like. Your guts, your bacteria strains. You could be taking a probiotic that's packed with all kinds of great bacteria strains, but if your gut is missing specific ones, and like me, I was taking this for like years and I couldn't figure out why I was missing the mark. I'd get great results, but then I would digress. Something would happen. I'm like, something's not right. And so then I figured out that I was missing key strains. And then I figured out I was missing certain digestive enzymes, which were needed to break down fats. So if you're on a ketosis diet, for example, which is healthy, high healthy fats, there's different ways to do ketosis. If you're doing clean ketosis, and you don't have that digestive enzyme, that's a trigger for inflammation. So if you take your car to a mechanic and the mechanic doesn't have all the tools, He's going to do what he can, but he can't really give it a proper service. He can't really do a proper job. And the car might be better, but it won't be a full service. Does that make sense? And your body's the same. So if you give it all the right tools, which is bacteria strains, digestive enzymes, nutritional deficiencies, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, taking a multivitamin is not going to help if you are low on certain levels. And so I started realizing which biomarkers were going to help me be most effective in my strategy and personalizing it. So if you had to come to me, Sandra, and say, okay, well, I have these issues, these health issues, whether it's genetic or not, all those things do play. There are variables to consider. But when you figure out what your body's lacking and we're deficient in certain things, and you replace it with those things first, it's like you optimize human healing 100-fold. I
Mm.
mean, all the people that I've helped are getting such incredible results. And I'm not the magic. I mean, I'd love to take the credit, but I'm not. We are born in a miracle. Our body is a miracle. It's so incredible. But now there's so many things that you can do for health. But if
Yeah.
you look at the full, if you look at just the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of human healing, what does the body need to heal itself? And you just make sure that it's got the tools, and you personalize it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Everyone's always saying, oh, you need to try the elimination diet. I'm like, well, what is that? Oh, you got to cut out meat, cut out alcohol, cut out this, cut out coffee, cut out what? Those things are actually very healthy for you, believe it or not, if you are a meat eater. But then you need to understand where the food comes from. It's not the cow, it's how. It's not the cow that's bad. It's how the cow is farmed and raised and fed. That's the problem. That's where the processed elements. Cows are meant to eat grass, not grains. So the moment an animal is not grass fed, a cow in this case, if it's grain fed, those are inflammatory things. And so what we eat, you are what you eat. When we eat red meat, if it hasn't been farmed properly and it's been fed all these inflammatory things, then we consume that as well. And so that's actually where the bad stuff comes in. So I was like in 2020, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Everything I'm told not to. Because everything I've been told to do up until now hasn't worked. I'm cutting out fat, I'm cutting out this, I'm cutting out meat, I'm cutting out all these things, and it's not working.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it the opposite. And then I obviously started learning how to do it safely. And so that's what I teach my clients. And these things all have healing benefits, but only if you can handle it. So I've had clients that have done a test where it comes back that they can't actually handle red meat. You don't have that immediate symptom though. It's not like you immediately go, oh, I've just eaten red meat and now I've got a stomachache. The body doesn't work that way. There are some things that you'll immediately know, like broccoli has a way of making people fart. Like you'll know, okay, I can't eat that. But then some things you won't know immediately. And then what happens is you get leaky gut syndrome because they've eaten that food and their body can't actually tolerate it. It's called sensitivities and intolerances. That's the test that I do. And so the moment you cut out those foods that they're sensitive to and they're intolerant to, their gut starts to heal so much quicker. And then you can reintroduce certain foods. So it's not like an allergy. Like, you get people who have peanuts and they go into like anaphylactic shock and they need to have an injection of adrenaline, or they land up going to the hospital. That's an allergic reaction. It's a different system in the body. So what I work with is I work with the gut. What can the gut handle? What does the gut need more of? What does the gut need less of? Let's personalize that. And that's how I healed myself. And then I just started teaching that onto others during lockdown. And everyone got great results within 21 days. Women were like losing weight. They were reduced pain. They were able to get out of the bed again. It was such an incredible thing. And I was like, okay, this has chosen me. I'm going to have to do this full time because I'm clearly good at helping people and people are getting results. Well, I left my corporate career in IT and business and I just dived into doing this full time. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me because the people that I've met, the healing journeys that I've been part of, it's priceless in a way, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm on a mission to heal the world, one human at a time,
That's
and just
beautiful.
spread the word.
I mean, that's quite the journey that you've been on, and that you're taking yourself and now helping people with. That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I just want to give everyone hope. Like,
Yeah.
don't give up. Don't think, well, I'm now diagnosed with these things and this is my life forever. You might have those things forever if it's an incurable condition, but keep researching. keep looking at like what's actually working. Don't give up, never settle, you know.
Amazing. What to you, so we're here in the Empowered Soul Network. How do you connect that, everything you've been sharing with that idea of being an empowered soul?
So that's a good question. You know, you can either teach someone to fish or you can give them the fish. And I learned through teaching what I came to learn for myself. I've learned to empower others by giving them the resources and the tools. And so I bridge that gap basically. I don't heal you. I'll say, well, let me share with you what works. And I know it works. These are the tests that you can get. Don't worry about all those. They're all expensive. They're not going to give you the results that you need right now, that you need to know to start healing immediately. So I'd like to think that I empower men and women and families, because what I do is for children as well, with the tools and the resources to safely biohack their own health. Biohack means just to take something apart, completely tear it all down and rebuild it according to your blueprint, your body, your DNA. So I empower people with the tools and the resources to heal their own bodies so that when they take their health back and they learn from me how to heal themselves, I teach them how to teach that on. So
Yeah.
it's a network of people. I mean, I've got clients that are now teaching others, and it's not their specialty. They're just sharing what they've learned, and everyone's getting results. And I think that's where the empowered side comes in.
Mm.
And I do it virtually because it started in lockdown. So I'm in every country in the world. My labs, I've got one laboratory, but we have partnered labs in every country. So the beauty about what I do is quite literally it's available in every country. It's not like you have to be in the UK, which is what I love as
Yeah.
well. That's why I say I'm on a global mission. But yeah,
Roxanne, what do you feel in that whole process for you of life, right? Going through all of that, the pain, the dis-ease inside, all of that kind of stuff. What do you feel, was there anything personally you were learning for yourself in all of this journey for you?
sorry, my kids. Okay.
Cats wants to be a part of the interview.
Well, he came with me from South Africa. He's my spirit animal. Anyway, you go away. Um, sorry, what was the question? What was
I was just
for me
curious,
personally?
something like for you personally, were there any things as you went through all of these challenges, which are intense, and then finding that the solutions for yourself, was there any part of that for you? Was there anything internally that you were learning aside from
Yes,
everything else you were just sharing with us, which is so much growth and learning in the process of all that?
yes, definitely. So great question. So when I moved here, the person I was then was very limited mindset. I've always believed that I can do anything I put my mind to. I'm one of those. I don't give up without a fight. But unfortunately, at that time, I always was conscious of my health, meaning if someone had to go, oh, let's book a call, I'd be like, okay, well, hold on, let me just check when my cycle due. Okay, I'm probably going to be sick for that week and a half. I'm only available, blah, 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 blah. Your life is limited. And even though I know I can do anything I put my mind to, I still knew I couldn't. And that was a big confidence. Like it knocked me a lot all the time. I mean, I'd suffered from the age of about 17, 18. I always suffered, always. And so turning 40, which is the day that I turned this whole thing around, I just remember going, no, this can't be it. And so if I have to look at what I gained from it, I have the utmost confidence in my body's healing ability. I do not believe that there is any symptom that I can't come back from. I now feel untouchable in a way, purely from a health. Like I almost go, well, actually, I'm not too scared of anything now because of what I've come back from. I'll deal with it. And that's given me a sense of, oh, I'm getting emotional. It's given me a sense of self empowerment, that you can't put a price on. There's nothing that I can't do now. And I never looked at it that way. I was always successful in my businesses and always in a high powered, high paced environment, always excelled, but then I'd crumble in the background, like behind closed doors. Sorry, no one's ever gotten me feeling emotional saying it. So that was a big one for me. I all of a sudden realized I can do anything.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's really difficult to feel that if you're constantly sick. And so when clients come to me, I need to remember, let's find them where they're at, because they do not believe right now that they can overcome anything. Let's find them where they're at. And I think that's my gift, is that I can connect because of my experience. And I can go, hey, right now you don't got you, but I got you. And your body actually has you. I'm just here to help connect you to you again. That's all. And you can have a full life. That's been my biggest take.
Wow. That is, I've I've got so many goosies and J-Los. Like I'm covered in the goosies.
I've done
Thank
a lot of
you.
these, and people ask me, but that was,
Mm.
yeah. That's my take.
Thank you for sharing that. That I feel like that's important for a lot of people to hear. So
I
I
think
really
it's important for everybody to hear that. You know
yeah.
what? Just let's get your body healing again. The gut brain connection. The moment you just fix everything, guys, fix your gut, and everything comes right. Anxiety, depression, you name it. And when you can think better and you're not constantly in pain, you can
Mm.
then tap into your skills. What were you put on this planet for? What is your purpose? You can now focus on that versus surviving. You're constantly in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's where everybody's coming out of the woodworks now. There's this movement. It's great.
Yeah, an energy of let's thrive, not just survive. I love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely.
How can people connect with you, Roxanne? I'm going to tag you obviously in this interview, but how else
Okay,
do you
good.
want to drop some links here in
Yes.
voice? Yeah.
Yes, yes, of course. So I've got like a link that they can click on. I actually have a free challenge coming up, which I'm just finishing it now, and I'm going to be doing it again. And that's actually probably going to be a better thing for that they can just add their email and name onto the list. And in the moment I launch the dates for the next one in May, I teach exactly what I do over a 10-day period. I've just done it for the first time and it's been amazing, the feedback. And I break it all down. It's called the Gut Reset Roadmap to Resilience. I break it all down. I teach it. It's completely free. And through that, individuals can also then reach out for personalized information. So I think that would be the best one to actually share.
Okay. Is there something that you can say? You will obviously drop those in the comments. Is there a certain website for those that might be
Yes,
listening, something they can go to that you want
yes. Yes, there's a link. It'll be called the challenge registration. They can just click on that. It'll take them to a website, one page, no scrolling, and
to?
on there it'll just say that there's going to be a 10-day. It's a video. It's not done live, so it's a video that goes out. I have realized because my audience is global, that the time zone thing is a bit crazy, especially if you're in like Canada or New Zealand. And so the effective way I have found is to email a lesson out every day so that individuals can watch it in their own time. And it's bite size, under half an hour. I break it up. And by the end of 10 days, I just finished it yesterday. By the end of 10 days, everybody's already getting results because they're starting to already implement things. So it's been quite great. What started out as a one-on-one program, 6 months private coaching, one-on-one, I've then learned how to teach it to many in one go. And so I think that'll be the most effective. Yeah,
Beautiful. All right. So I'll tag you here and then you can drop those links in the comments below so people can.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Great.
Thank you so much for, I know I did the same thing you did. Thank you so much for sharing with us and just also just that vulnerability because I feel like that's so impactful. I mean, I could feel it through the screen, what you're sharing, and it just helps me elevate to that space as well. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you're the only one who's actually gotten me vulnerable in that. I was like, what's happening here? It must be the empowered soul part.
Empowered soul, baby. Awesome. Thank you so much, Roxanne.
Thank you for the opportunity as well to have me on.
Yes, lovely.